Hello, so I mentioned in my movie, the Mooncat movie, that I would be talking about what was going on with stealth in that movie because if you look at it, there's a lot of times that I get re-stealths off in the middle of a fight, and some of those are legit and some of those are not so legit. So first thing I want to do is talk about, what are the legit re-stealths and what are the non-legit re-stealths. And in this fight, you have a legit re-stealth. Right here, he silences me. And to counter that, I go in cat form. Right, that's using Shadow Melt, so that's a legit re-stealth. And that allows me to rake stun him and kill him. Here's another example of a legit re-stealth. I'm fighting a monk. He saps me, and you should always be looking to re-stealth off a soft CC because people sometimes forget to keep you in combat. He doesn't keep me in combat, and maybe we'll get out of combat, get another re-stealth opener on him. Okay, so now let's talk about some re-stealths that aren't so legit, like that one right there. Let me go back a little bit so you can see what happened, and I'll explain why this happened a little bit later. Right here, you'll see my combat state will drop right there. And I go into stealth. I notice this cat here. Now that was not a legit re-stealth, obviously, because I'm sitting there tab target dotting people. So I cut off the angle and I'm able to actually get him. Okay, fast forwarding to this fight a little bit. So if you look in the upper left corner, you'll notice the cross swords there where my level was. That means I'm in combat. And what you'll see here, and this is one thing to look at if you have this bug, and I kind of hesitate a little bit to call it a bug, but I guess technically, a bug. If you have this bug, what you'll notice sometimes is your combat state will drop, and a lot of people have thought this is random, but actually it drops for very specific reasons. What I haven't figured out is why some characters are affected by this while others aren't, right? But you'll notice right as this cat died, look at the upper left, my combat state will drop immediately, even though I've been in combat with that DK back there as well. There, he dies and I drop combat. So that allows me to stealth, and I didn't know this hunter was coming in, but so this is an added bonus, but I go ahead and use that to stealth, and notice this hunter who is off screen, he has harpooned me. The funny thing is that from his point of view, I disappeared on his screen, and he has no idea where I went. So he was coming in, he's gonna try to finish me off because I was low health, but he's low health as well. By re-stealthing there, it took me off his screen long enough where he got confused, and I'm behind him now. And notice right here when he dies, look at it, I've already frozen right here. He dies, I'm out of combat again. See, it went out of combat immediately when he died. Now this DK still chasing me, and notice I had dropped the silence field back there, so he ran through it. He's silenced. He can't grip me. I'm going to go ahead and go for a heal, and then I'm going to get a re-stealth opener on the DK. Re-stealth opener there. So that was an interesting fight because you saw non-legit re-stealths there. The first re-stealth, let me talk about in the next clip, right? Why that happened. The other two that you saw happened because I killed somebody. Even in a 1v-N, if you're fighting other people, if one of them dies, if you have this bug, your combat state will drop and you'll be able to stealth. It's like getting free vanishes in the middle of a fight. Okay, so here's a clip from the entertainment style movie that I made where I, first kind of hinted that I would talk about this video. So I'm fighting these two. I stun the feral because he's the only one of those two that kept up with me, and I go to run away, and the blood DK adds, and I'm kind of making fun of this because blood DK is adding me. I've dotted him. I'm attacking him. All of a sudden I stealth, and you're like, how did that happen? So that's not a legit re-stealth, and I didn't have any dots on me, so it's like a free vanish, and I'm able to just do whatever I want. So what happened there, and if you go back to the beach clip, the very first re-stealth, is that the people I had been attacking before, the paladin and the druid, well, they went off away from me. They went far enough out of range from me that I dropped combat relative to them, and that caused me to drop combat even though I was attacking the blood DK and the blood DK was attacking me. So it's kind of a little bit like the leashing in PvE, where if you get enough distance on a mob, it will reset. Well, you get enough distance on people you attack before, your combat state will drop. So I took advantage of that. Okay, so here's another example of that. Again, I'm being a tab target hero on the beach there. When this DK pulls me from behind, he pulls me, it's kind of weird. I go so far behind him. But watch what happens with my combat state. Again, look in the upper left. Right there, see it drop? And it dropped because when he pulled me far enough away from those people that I had been attacking, and that dropped me out of combat. It gave me a window, and I went ahead and stealth before this DK could put any dots on me. Okay, so now here's the story part of this, because it had been a very long time since I played any stealth classes in WoW. I mean, I think the last time I had seriously played any stealth classes was back in TBC. I started playing some stealth classes here in Legion Beta, and I was like, wow, some of this stuff that I remember doing in vanilla I can do now. Because I said before, I hesitated to call it a bug. what's happening is that it's using the combat state rules from original vanilla. And let me explain that. So you've seen two non-legit ways to re-stealth right now. When you're in a fight, it doesn't matter how many people you're in a fight with, one of them dies, you can stealth. You'll lose combat, you're able to stealth. It's not really a stealth bug, it's a combat state bug. You're fighting multiple people. If some of those people go out of range of you, you'll have a small window there where you drop combat and you can stealth. And here's the other thing. If someone vanishes, if someone invises, if someone feigns death, right? So what you're going to see here is this mage is going to invis, and see that? Combat state drop, bam, stealth. So this is the way stealth worked for everybody in original vanilla. And I'll show you some clips just to show that. Here I'm fighting a rogue. I put Helm of Fire dot on him. There's no Cloak of Shadows then, so that's going to screw him as far as re-stealthing. And I'm just kind of kiting him around here a little bit, and he goes for the vanish. When you see right there when he vanished, combat state dropped for me immediately, so I'm able to get a free stealth off of that. So he vanishes, I'm able to regular stealth, right? And since he had the Helm of Fire dot on him, right, it's over for him. Brought him out, and he's done. Here's a clip with Feign. Okay, fighting a hunter here, scatter shots me, he's going to feign shortly, and when he feigns, you'll notice that right there, when he feigned, I automatically dropped out of combat, and I cheap shot him off of that feign. Okay, and here's another clip from vanilla. Quality is bad because 2005, and it's a 1v2, there's a hunter, and I think that's a rogue that was fighting. The hunter's going to die. And again, look at the upper left, you see the crossed swords, I'm in combat. When Hunter dies, and I'll stop right there, you see Hunter dies, look, upper left portrait, you see my level, I'm no longer in combat, I'm able to re-stealth even though this other rogue has been fighting me. So again, that's like a free in-fight vanish. So that's how combat state worked in old vanilla, and it was changed. There was a point in time when it's changed, and that change actually was directly because of my movies, because I made a movie. It was just a movie about re-stealthing. It was a single extended fight up at the lumber mill. It was a large group fight, and I went through and I actually counted off the number of re-stealths that I got in that fight, and it turned out to be 11. I don't have that movie anymore. It's on maybe like 5 generations of machines old. It's long gone. It was posted on FileFront before YouTube even existed. But there was a rogue that many of you might remember if you played old school vanilla named Ming, and Ming took that video and sent it to the devs, and 1 week later this combat state thing that you see here in these old vanilla clips was gone. They changed it. After you killed someone, you were stuck in combat for 5 to 6 seconds directly because of my old vanilla movies. I apologize. Okay, so now back to Legion, and you know what to look for. Now the question is, why are some characters experiencing this while others don't? For example, here is my orc rogue, and wow, look at the great balance here. You might want to help Fury out a little bit there, Blizzard. They're kind of hurting, in the survivability department. Anyway, let me go back on that, and you'll see here when they die, right there, notice in the upper left, I didn't drop combat. I have to wait that 5 to 6 seconds before combat drops. Okay, here I am on Unholy DK fighting a rogue, and let's see if I have it on this character. I kill him, you see I'm stuck in combat. I have to wait until I drop combat, and yeah, I don't even bother wasting cooldowns on this. I sit down and take it like a man. So again, the question is, who's affected by this and who isn't? So there's some speculation that Night Elves seem to benefit from this the most. Maybe not all Night Elves, but many Night Elves. We definitely know my Night Druid is benefiting from it, but my Orc Rogue is not. Let's see here on my Hunter, and he is going to run into my explosive trap there, and that will be the killing blow that made the difference in the fight. And let's see what happens when he dies. Okay, he's dead, and bam, combat state gone. So my Hunter is benefiting from this as well. Okay, here's my Hunter again, fighting a Shadow Priest, but also you see I'm taking damage from a Warlock at the same time. Okay, they are going to die right there. Okay, I got it. So they die. See this Warlock here is attacking me, and you see up here my combat status dropped. In order to test this, I went ahead and did a character faction change on my rogue from Orc to Night Elf to see, okay, is this a Night Elf thing or not? And, here you go, Blizzard. I'm spending $30 of my money to help test your game, okay? But here's back into 1v2. I'm going to be able to kill this Shaman, and you'll notice here that I do that right here, but my combat state does not drop. right, like it would with the druid. My druid, I would be able to stealth right here and open on that warrior. Okay, here's that night elf rogue again. Nobody near me. I'm not in a group with anybody. I'm on a night elf. I'm stuck in combat, right? And see, I have to wait. So I looked over all the clips I did on the night elf rogue, and I never saw one instance where I had that combat state drop. Okay, and I happen to have a night elf fire mage, and although it's not a 1v1, since this is the only enemy when he dies, it's a good test. And you see he died, and I'm stuck in combat. Okay, here's my blood elf demon hunter. Let's see if he has it. Goes through, kills. Oh, stuck in combat. My blood elf demon hunter does not benefit from the combat state bug. And, so you think you almost got it figured out, because I had asked someone named Varric. Hey, Varric, he's a dedicated rogue, so he's been playing stealth a lot. I asked him about this because it had been a while since I played stealth, and he said, yeah, this is something that was complained about in Arena, and then it sparked my memory. Oh, yeah, I remember them talking about it. They called it the sap bug, because rogues were vanishing and inducing non-combat state on night elf priests, I think, were usually the victims of this, and they were sapping them immediately. So that makes sense with what I'm talking about, but it's much larger than that, as you can see. It's not a sap bug or a stealth bug. It's actually a combat state bug, all right? And you think you almost have it figured out because they say, oh, it's like just night elves, Night elves seem to be affected by this, and, they think it's random. And, I was thinking, well, yeah, it does kind of seem like some night elves are affected by it. And then, things happen. You go back and look, and you go, whoa, boy, it's not just night elves. Look at that. I kill them. Combat state instantly drops on my human warrior. So it's not just night elves. Okay, here's my human warrior again. This is a blood DDK, and I'm going to kill him. And you see right there, he dies. Bam, instantly out of combat. Okay, human warrior again. This time there's a rogue, and I killed him right there, and drop out of combat. Okay, so this is against a fire mage. I'm down here by myself, and I get the killing blow, but notice here that I don't drop combat. So look into the footage. I usually do on my warrior, but there's sometimes where you don't, and there's something else going on there. I don't know why I didn't drop combat here, but if you're looking to see if you have this bug or not, keep that in mind. It doesn't always work, but if you have the bug, it's pretty consistent that you'll drop combat right when the person dies. Make sure that you're not fighting, near other people, especially if you're grouped with them. So I'm in a group with a cell. We queued together, and because I'm in a group with a cell and we're fighting near each other, it's going to keep me in combat regardless of whether I kill anybody or not. So I take out this healer here, and you see I kill them, and I don't drop combat. And the reason why I don't drop combat here is because a cell is near me fighting. This is really kind of a big deal, because if you're a stealth class and you have access to this feature, well, it makes your life a lot easier when you're fighting. For example, here, I kill a warrior, and you notice there, the warrior dies. Look up upper left, combat state instantly dropped, and I turn around, and oh boy, here we got incoming. There's a warrior, a druid, and a warlock incoming. And because I've dropped combat, I'm able to stealth that warrior's route, right? And take a look, you see there's too much to deal with there, and I'm able to just glide away to freedom. Now, if I did not have access to this feature, I like to call it a feature instead of a bug, because, if they don't fix it, which apparently this has been around for a while now, I'm going to take advantage of it in every damn way I can. If I didn't have access to this feature, well, I wouldn't have been able to stealth there. That warrior would have got on me, and between, the three of them, you're not going to win a 1v3 anymore in Legion, guys. The gear changes everything. So again, the natural question is, does every Night Elf Druid have this? I'm going to guess no, if you want to test it out and see. And then it can be something crazy, like, what hair color your character has, or was your character created on a Monday or Tuesday? There are way too many variables involved to actually test it myself. You can crowdsource test it, so all these people out there, if you have a Night Elf Druid, check and see. The things to look for, again, you've seen in this video. Do you drop combat immediately after you kill someone? And again, to make sure there's not other things interfering, make sure you're off soloing somewhere, you're not queuing with other people, no one's nearby. All right, so, check that and see. Does your combat state drop in a 1v2 after you kill one person, right, even though you're still fighting the other person? Does your combat state drop when you out of range people you're fighting with before, even if you're still fighting other people that are right on top of you? Does your combat state drop immediately when your enemy vanishes, invises, or feigns? Okay, so that's it for now. I mentioned in the video that it was a little bit too complicated to talk about in that movie, which I think it is, and There's still things here I really don't know what's going on. I don't know why some characters are affected by this than others. And have fun, I guess, if you have this feature for your character.